Hello friends, welcome back to my channel. I'm C. Shilpa Surana, and since Devyani International Limited IPO is going live next week, I just thought to make a quick video discussing about various aspects of the company. If you are feeling that you don't know Devyani International Limited, do watch this video till the end and I'm sure you will be proven wrong. If you're new to my channel, don't forget to subscribe my channel. Also, if you like the content of this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up because it really encourages me. So, let's start with today's video. So now let's talk about the company first. Devyani International Limited is the largest franchisee of Yum brands in India. For the people who don't know Yum brands basically have brands like Pizza Hut, KFC, Taco Bell under them. Okay. So Devyani International is into franchisee business and it has taken franchisee from Yum Brands Inc. Okay. And also this company is among the largest operator of quick service restaurants in India. So quick service restaurant, that is QSR, actually are the restaurants that serves fast food cuisines and has minimal table services at their restaurant. Okay. For the interest of people who don't know franchisee business model, so under franchisee business, there is an owner or franchisor. What he does is he licenses his activities like his products, his knowledge, etc., and give this license to operate to other people who are known as franchisee. So in this case, Yum Brand Inc. is actually franchisor and Devyani International Limited is franchisee who has taken license to operate brands under Yum Brand Inc. Okay. So Devyani International has 696 stores across India as of 30th June 2021. So that's a pretty woofing number. So now something about Yum Brands Inc., the company from which Devyani International have taken franchisee. So this company operate brands such as KFC, Pizza Hut, Taco Bell, and it is having presence in more than 50,000 restaurants over 150 countries as of 31st December 2020. All right. Now, in addition to the franchisee from Yum Brands Inc., this company is also having franchisee of Costa Coffee brand and it has stores across India for the same. So now coming to the company's revenue generating streams. So this company operates in three business verticals. One is core brand. So core brand covers brands like KFC, Pizza Hut and Costa Coffee whose stores it is having across India. So the second revenue stream is through international businesses and under this it is having stores in foreign countries, that is Nepal and Nigeria. Further, there are other businesses wherein it run its own branded stores, that is Vango, Food Street, Masala Twist, etc. So that is another one stream of business. Now initially the company had started with Pizza Hut store in Jaipur, but subsequently it expanded its operations and it had opened multiple stores of Pizza Hut also. So as of 31st March 2021, actually there are 297 Pizza Hut stores of Devyani International Limited and there are 264 KFC stores and 44 Costa Coffee stores in India. Okay. Now, as we know that these are the main stream of revenue for Devyani International, let's see how much which stream contributes. Okay. Now, the first one being the core brand business, wherein we saw there were three brands, it contributes to 84% of the total revenue. Then the international, it contribute to 10.17%. Then comes the other business wherein it has own branded stores, which was 5.28% of the total revenue. Then there is other operating revenue, which is very minimal, that is 0.53%. In this, there is some rental income for this company and some branding related revenue. So this is how the revenue of the company has been divided. Now we have seen the brand that is operated by the company, KFC, Pizza Hut, Costa Coffee. Apart from this, there are cell phone brand also. So now that we know that these are the brands of the company, are you interested in knowing that how much percent of the revenue comes from which brand? So let's see that here. As we can see, the KFC is generating almost 56.77% of its total revenue. Pizza Hut contributes to 25.37% of its total revenue from core brands and Costa Coffee contributes to 1.88%. All right. Now coming to the peers of Devyani International Limited, Jubilant Foodworks Limited is one of its peers. So you can associate this company with Domino's. Then comes Westlife Development Limited. You can associate this company with McDonald's. And then there is Burger King India Limited. All right. So these are the peers of Devyani International Limited. Now, coming to the financials of the company, the total assets have decreased from March 19 to March 21. Total revenue has decreased from March 19 to March 21. Also, the losses have increased from March 19 to March 21. So, if you talk about the current status of its financial, so its financials are definitely not lucrative, with the top line falling as well as the bottom line falling. Okay, so now one more thing that I had observed, that even its peer, that is Westlife Development Limited, which you can associate with MACD, and the Burger King India Limited, both have been booking loss since the past 2 years. So only Jubilant Food Works, that is like Domino's, is actually showing profit. Other two companies are showing losses. In fact, when I saw the income statement of Burger King, it was actually booking losses since 2014. So it has still not incurred any profit. So you never know, what will happen for this company. I mean, the projection of when the profit will come is highly uncertain here. Okay. Now, coming to the strength of this company, one of the key strengths is that it is the largest franchisee of Yum brands in India. Further, the portfolio includes highly recognized global brands, that's KFC, Costa Coffee, Pizza Hut, okay? And the next key strength is its widespread market presence. So it is having almost all 65 stores across all brands and are present in 26 states and 3 union territories in India. All right, so that's really big thing. And also it has been continuously increasing the number of stores that it operates. All right, now coming to the risks for this company. So this company is having fluctuating revenues, which were very clear from the financials of the company. These companies have losses in the last 3 years. Further, the risk of COVID-19 pandemic, which is not specific to this particular company or industry, but is for the whole economy. Now, another one risk for this company is that it derives its key revenue from KFC and Pizza Hut stores. So any termination or inability to renew any agreement with Yum Inc. for these franchisees can have material impact on its business. Same is the case applicable for the Costa Coffee brand also. Any termination or material modification in the agreement or contract can have adverse impact on the company's business. Now, another one important risk to note about this company is that statutory auditors have given an emphasis of matter paragraph and have given some remarks. Now, I was trying to identify what were those, and this is what I found, that the company has mentioned in its emphasis of matter paragraph the risk relating to COVID-19, wherein there is lot of uncertainties due to this COVID-19 pandemic, which can adversely impact the company's operation and revenue. So this emphasis of matter paragraph was mentioned in its audit report in financial year ending 2020 as well as financial year ending 2021. All right. And the next thing that was highlighted in its 2019 auditor's report was material uncertainty regarding the going concern. Okay. So for the people who don't know what going concern is basically an assumption on which the company operates, which means that the company will continue to exist in the foreseeable future, and also it is in the position to meet its obligations. Now, material uncertainty being raised for the going concern is very critical thing or very big thing actually. Okay. Now the question is why auditors felt that there was uncertainty relating to going concern. The reason for that is that in 2019 the accumulated losses were so much that the net worth of the company had been eroded. Also, the current liabilities were higher than the current assets, which is again not a good thing, because that means that your current assets are not sufficient to meet your current liabilities obligation. However, the company had given certain mitigating factors for this material uncertainty, and those were like projected cash flows for the future of its group and joint ventures, and the undrawn credit with the banks which is available with this company. Also the continued operational support from its ultimate holding company, due to which the management felt that it can continue as a going concern even in the future. All right. Now, another one risk for this company is negative cash flows in the past. So even in future, if they continue to have negative cash flow, it can have impact on the company's cash flow requirement, and it might have to rely on bank for its day-to-day cash requirements. Okay. So these are some of the risks that I felt were important to be highlighted, but there are more risks which are mentioned in the RHP, that is red herring prospectus of the company, which you guys can go through. Okay. Now coming to the IPO details. This IPO is opening up on 4th of August 2021 and closing on 6th of August 2021. So the price band for this IPO is 86 to 90 on higher side, okay? And the market lot is 165 shares. So if you guys want to invest in this IPO, you guys have to actually apply for 165 shares. Listing is to be done at both BSE and NSE if the IPO is successful. And the issue size is 1838 crores. Out of this, fresh issue is for 440 crore and offer for sale is 1398 crores. So this is something which I'm not very comfortable with, because most of its portion is going to go to promoters of the company and very less will be left for the company for its use. Now let's see for what purpose this fresh issue is going to be used. As we can see here, the company is going to use 324 crores for repayment of its borrowings and the remaining will be used for general corporate purpose. Okay. Now coming to the valuation part, as we had seen, the company is still in losses. So for Devyani International, we actually can't compute PE ratio. However, the PE ratio for Jubilant FoodWorks is 132.93 when I last checked. And as we have spoken earlier also, that Westlife Development Limited and Burger King have shown losses. So even PE ratio for them is not applicable. So as such, basis the PE of the company, we are not able to determine that whether this issue is overpriced or underpriced, because the company is still in losses. Now coming to the grey market premium part. So the shares of this company are currently trading at a premium of 52 rupees in grey market. So for those who don't know what a grey market is a place where the shares are getting traded offline in the market before the shares are listed. Okay. Now coming to the conclusion part, we have seen that this company is the largest franchisee of Yum brands and also is among the largest QSR chain operators in India. Further, there was fluctuating revenues as well as increasing losses year on year, and even the valuations are uncertain as of now, and even there is uncertainty on the valuation part. So what I feel is that medium to long term investors should ideally wait and watch for the company's performance for some more time and can give a miss to this IPO. And for short-term investors who are looking only for listing gain, I feel considering the current bull run in the market and also the positive sentiment which has been shown towards this IPO, which is clear from the grey market premium, there are high chances that there may be listing gains on the listing day. However, this sentiment should be rechecked on day 2 of subscription also. Further, people who have high risk taking capacity can consider subscribing for this IPO. Having said that, I want to bring one important thing to your notice here, that Barbecue Nation had also come for IPO few months back, that is in March, and was also incurring losses, okay, and had 5.8 times oversubscription, okay, but the share of this company were listed at 2% discount on listing day. However, the share price recovered and gave up to 50% returns in the short term. Alright, so that's all guys from my side. I hope this content helps you in better decision making. If you like the content of this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. Also, please note this is not a recommendation to buy, so do your own research before subscribing for this IPO. I'll see you in my next video. Till then, stay home, stay safe. Bye.